Yeah, I like to before we get started. I don't know if you guys have heard. I signed a new coach today. I'd like you guys to give Michael a round of applause. He's our honorary coach today. All right, we're ready.
Coach, you could just give us an update on Rodney and Alec and how they're playing and how they're doing for you.
They're doing really well for me. I'm really excited in having both guys. I think both guys feel a void, with our team. Obviously, we're going through a process as far as rebuilding. And both guys are young talents, and they give me an opportunity to play guys and move them around in multiple positions. Both guys are versatile. And they've really been good for us. They play well together. They play out for one another. And I'm really, really excited in having both guys.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Delhi status tonight?
Delhi will not play tonight. The foot is sore, so we're not going to jeopardize. We'll see how he feels tomorrow. But tonight he is definitely out.
You've been going small for this stretch recently because of matchups. Because Utah plays two bigs at the start, are you going with Larry and Tristan together, or do you feel like you still have to stagger those guys with Ante out?
Well, we're going to talk about it as a staff when I get done with the press conference. Looking at our schedule, we will be playing some teams that are going to be pretty big. And not having Tristan that stretch that we had, we're almost forced to play a lot of small ball and a lot of games where we just from a rebounding standpoint, we could not could not keep bigger teams off the glass. So that's just something that we're definitely been talking about, and something that we're looking at and we're contemplating. And there's definitely a chance that we could go big tonight, just to match up against them because they're so big and they're so good on the offensive glass.
Marla Ridenour, Akron Beacon Journal. I mean, this is kind of, Corver's coming back. I mean, do you, when you see him again, do you kind of wonder whether he's gonna light it up?
Well, first I'm gonna give him a big hug, because Kyle Corver is one of my favorite players, and I know Kyle. Kyle is, I've been watching some of their games, and Kyle is Kyle. He's running around, and he gets his feet set. He's going to let it go, and I think for their team, I think he's a great pickup. With the rest of their team, their talent. Certainly, we have to make sure we do a good job on him tonight. We can't let him get free because I know he wants to come in here, and if nothing else, light us up. So we're going to be locked in. Hopefully, we can do a good job on him and not let him get any good looks.
Joe Barton, The Athletic. Understanding that when Kyle was traded, the organization had already started down the path that you're on now in this rebuild. So we get that. But when you look at the trade and look at what teams have been doing to you lately with this zone, do you ever sit there and think this wouldn't happen if Kyle was still around?
Well, I don't know. I can't say if it wouldn't happen, our team still wouldn't zone us. But certainly, anytime you play against a zone, the first thing you think of is, are you going to be making shots from the perimeter? And certainly with a guy like Kyle on the floor, teams may be a little reluctant in zoning us. I get that. I totally get that. But at the same time, I think there are other things that you can do against a zone. And we've had some good looks. We've done some good things. I went back and looked at our entire game against Miami, and I told our guys I really didn't think it was as much as what the zone did to us. I thought what we did. As far as our spacing and not moving the basketball. We worked on zone, but it always helps if you got a prolific shooter out on the floor. Teams are a little less reluctant in playing some zone, but still you have to move the basketball. You have to look to break down the defense and make the extra pass. And our last game against Miami, we just didn't do that.
Man, you want to win. But even beyond that, how important is it to break this string of zones, so maybe your guys can develop more. Isn't it harder to kind of develop as a young basketball player if you're seeing this funky zone every night?
Yeah, sort of, kind of. I think the one thing that I don't want to happen is our guys, the minute they see zone, they panic. I know zone is not a time to panic. I think our guys should be licking their chops, when they do see zone, because when teams play zone, they're telling the message I think they're sending is, we don't think that you can, we don't think you can play well against the zone. We don't think you can make shots against the zone. Obviously, in throwing zone, it's just to change the rhythm of the game, and the rhythm of the game, it can get you stagnant, which it has done for us the last couple of games, and the last couple of days we've actually put in some new stuff versus zone. So, if Utah does play zone, I'm excited to see how our guys will react, because it's to me it's part of the process as far as you mentioned, with the young guys in developing and in building and in understanding that. Teams are going to try to go at your weaknesses, and if they feel you're weak in a certain area, they're going to try to exploit that. And for our guys, particularly our young guys, it'll be a great opportunity. And I would be excited to see how they will react, whichever team we face that does play zone against us.
Spencer Davies, Basketball Insider. Strictly speaking, from a having bodies available standpoint, I asked this to the guys the other night. Having not that many people available to play and then sometimes moving them in and out, how difficult is it for the team, the players themselves, to get a rhythm? I mean, obviously it's difficult on you because you have to move guys around, but playing with each other and playing with different guys constantly, how do you see that affecting them as far as just getting in any kind of rhythm?
Well, it's extremely difficult. I think, having been a player myself and played in the league for 10 years, I know how tough that can be on a player, also a coach, but it's part of the game. There are a lot of things that happen through the course of a season. The NBA season, it's a long season, and there are a lot of different things that happen. You have to be ready to adjust. You have to be ready to adapt to whatever the situation may be. For us in particular, it's been extremely tough. With having to juggle people around and move them in different spots, and tonight, no Delhi, so we've got to come up with a kind of a solution as far as who's going to be handling the ball, as far as backup point guard. But that's all part of the game. That's all part of the NBA, and you just have to be ready to adjust. You have to be ready to adapt. It gives you a chance to see how your players react in certain situations. Certainly, as I've said before, in my wildest dreams, I did not imagine. At the start of this season, when we come into the season, that we will be without Kevin Love. I thought, I just thought we would have Kevin, and that just wasn't the case. So it's tough. It's tough, but you have to, you just have to be ready to adjust. You have to be ready to adapt. You have to be ready to move forward. And with this ball club, the last thing that I will allow them to do is to make excuses just because we got people out. We, as I said, this is the NBA life. Other teams go through it as well, and we just have to roll our sleeves up, and we have to take the challenge.
For them to go through it this early in this stage of their career, though, do you feel like that can be beneficial moving forward, especially if they react? It
really can. It really can, because they're getting a taste of it early. Yeah. They're getting a taste of it early. So when it comes back around again, because they've experienced it, they know kind of how to handle it. They know how to deal with it, and they've been through it. And there's nothing more important than just to get that type of experience.
Eric Walden, Salt Lake Tribune. Utah closed last season 29-6, started this season sub 500. Obviously, what have you seen out of them, and what specific challenges do the likes of Gobert and Donovan Mitchell play for the likes of your team?
Well, when I look at their team, first of all, the one thing I say about their team, they're a very talented team. And they have the ability, they have the personnel where they can put strings of wins together. If they stay healthy, they have that ability to put together a string of wins. They've gotten up to some sort of a slow start. I'm sure they are not where they want to be at this particular point. But again, I look at their personnel. Their ability. They're big. They're fast. They're athletic. They're quick. They got guys that can shoot it from the perimeter. They're a pretty good defensive team. You know, they've got it. They've got a lot of pluses in their favor. So I wouldn't, you know, just from the outside looking in. I think this team has the ability to put together a string of wins. You know, everybody knows how tough the West is, but I think when you look at that Utah roster, they're just as talented. So I think they do have that ability to run off a string of wins.